राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राधा जप सुंदरा जय राधा जप सुंदरा जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा नीलाचल शंकर जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा, जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें। जय गौरनिता जय गौरानिता, जय गौरानिता जय गौरनिता। जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल, जय गौर हरि बोल। जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा, जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो। एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद ऐसी भक्त वेदांत सांस प्रभुपाद की जाए। एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाए। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामाई यमुनामाई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. 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 All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Prabhupada ki jai. ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण विष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधाम नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। पाद की जय। Reading from Bhagavad Gita, quickly we'll run through the 4 verses and then we'll come to that. Where we are. Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 6, Dhyana Yoga, the process of meditation, verse number 33. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhakti Bhavtanestiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. Chapter 6, verse number 33. Arjuna Vacha Yo Ayam Yogastvaya Prokta Samyena Madhusudana Etashyaham na pasyami chanchalatva sthitim stiram. Arjuna Vacha Yo Ayam Yogastvaya Prokta Samyena Madhusudana Etasyaham na pasyami chanchalatva sthitim stiram. More toward Arjuna watch, Arjuna said,
George now, then we can post it to you. Can you post it? What shall we post?
Okay, good. Yeah, I am this system, yoga. This is Tvaya, by you. Prokta, described. Samyena, generally. Madhusudana, O killer of the demon Madhu. Etasya, of this. Aham, I. Na, do not. Pasyami, see. Chanchalatva, due to being restless. Titim, situation. Stiram, stable. Translation by Srivanjay Setsi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shubhopad Vijay. Arjuna said, "O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady." Please repeat that. Arjuna said, "O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady." Verse number 34. चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढं तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढं तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् चञ्चलं flickering is certainly mana mind Krishna, O Krishna, Pramati, agitating, Balavat, strong, Drudam, obstinate, Tasya, it's Aham, my, Nigraham, subduing, Manye, think, Vayu of the wind, Iva, like, Sudushkaram, difficult, translation, Vashagopa. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the mind, controlling the wind. Verse number 35. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamsayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kunteya Vairagyena cha Grihyate. श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन च गृह्यते श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन च गृह्यते Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the personality of Godhead said, Asamsayam, undoubtedly, Mahabaho, O mighty armed one, Mana, the mind, Durnigraham, difficult to curb, Chalam, flickering, Abhyasena, by practice, too, but Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Vairagyena, by detachment, Cha, also Grishyade, can be so controlled. Translation by Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Repeat, Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Verse number 36. असंयता आत्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वस्य आत्मना तु यतता शक्यो अवाप्तुम् उपायतः असंयता आत्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वस्य आत्मना तु यतता शक्यो अवाप्तुम् उपायतः असंयता unbridled Atmana by the mind, yoga, self-realization, those prapa difficult to obtain. Iti thus me, my, mati, opinion, vasya, controlled, Atmana by the mind, through, but yatata, while endeavoring, sakya, practical, avaptum, to achieve, upayataha, by appropriate means. Translation by Sri Prabhupada. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is a difficult work, but whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work, but he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. So, I'll try to understand. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panguham Langete Girim Yatkrupattamaham Vande Sri Gurum Devatarana Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhupayeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Mera Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamiham Tadati Swapadantikam. So Rupa Goswam Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktam ki jai. Thank you all for joining. So, very important verses, these four verses where Arjuna is asking the sixth question here in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. After Lord Krishna explaining the Ashtanga Yoga process, Yoga Ruda, then beginning stage Yoga Ruda and Yoga Arurukshu, beginning and topmost stage, and the whole process of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Dharana, and Samadhi. These are eight fold mysticism, Ashtanga Yoga process. So Arjuna very much now, so thinking, it's very difficult, it is impractical. As Arjuna is asking the question, that's why. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadram vayoriva sudushkaram. Nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. It is very difficult to control, even more difficult to control than wind. So then Lord Krishna is explaining, Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. So you have controlled, you fought, you became victorious against Lord Shiva. So you should be able to control your mind by practice of devotion service, following the when we have serious disease, controlling the senses, controlling the mind is a serious disease of the conditioned soul. So you must practice the follow the diet and follow the treatment. And the treatment is chanting the holy name of the Lord and hearing the glories of the holy names of the Lord. Satam prasangat mama virya samvido bhavant hrit karna rasayana joshanad apavargavartam shraddha bhaktir ratir anukramishyati. By hearing in the association of devotees, gradually one develop faith, develop attraction, then surrender to spiritual master, then gradually it will lead on to the Nishta. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting giving the Siksastakam, the first verse. When will we come to that Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, this fire of material existence, great fire. This today's topic, in either way you look at, it is material turbulence, material sickness to transcendental happiness. Either way you look at from this Gita verses, it is material sickness or material turbulence, because mind is always running in different directions. If you look at the Lord Jaganath's Snan Yatra, it is indicating the transcendental happiness. But Lord is getting the sick, the fever. We'll go into that detail, but it's the title will be like this: material sickness to transcendental happiness. How will we transform ourselves from this position of material sickness into transcendental happiness, or material turbulence into transcendental happiness? That's why it both is very apt for this four verses. So by constant practice, by hearing in the association of devotees, that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving that Cheto Dharpana Maharjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Sreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambudu Vardanam Muktipadam Purnamruta Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So where Acharyas explain Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. When will it happen? When it will be Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan? When a person hears sufficiently and properly, when one reaches from Sravana to Varana to stage, then when he comes to the especially Nishta, then it will become Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Until that, it will not be Param Vijayate, because our senses are agitating, in agitated position. So even though we may be chanting, we may be hearing, but still the material modes of ignorance, passion is there, we are not situated in mode of goodness. Many times, and that's why as in the previous class I explained in 3:15:1, Canto 3, chapter 15, verse number 1, where this proper hearing must be done. There are 81 ways. The three modes into three, permutation combination 9 ways, and the 9 types of devotion service, starting with Sravanam all the way to surrender. Surrender, Bal Maharaj. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Satyam, Atmanivedam. Atmanivedam last. These 9 types of devotion. So 9 into 9, 81 ways of devotion service. Living entity can perform these many ways because you could be performing mode of ignorance, passion, goodness, or mix. So that's why these many ways. So in order for that to be perfected, that the treatment must be taken very carefully. Serious disease, Mahadavagni, not even ordinary fire, Mahadavagni. So Lord Jaganath is also seemingly in a fever, but it's not material fever. We are in the material fever. We will come to that elsewhere in Narada Muni explaining that what is that fever, what Jaganath Snan Yatra is indicating to us in different reflections when we contemplate more on it. So in order to control the mind, that is the first thing, transcendental treatment. Physician's treatment must be taken very carefully, and then the diet. Physician will give treatment. Follow these things, and then also you will give diet. What's supposed to be done? What's supposed to be done? That is, diet is Krishna conscious, Krishna's prasadam offering. As per the Lord Jagannath, prasadam is never contaminated. So glories are endless. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is asking, he make sure that he ordered Gopinath and other servants to deliver Jagannath Mahaprasadam to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is superintendent of this temple. So in and out. He has been asked to, until that he was a great scholar, Brahaspati Epiranga Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Then when Lord Jagannath asked him, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to take, then he understood. Then immediately, without even brushing the teeth, he took it. Even on Ekadasi day, if one receives Lord Jagannath Prasad, one must offer obeisances, one must offer pranam, minimum. We should offer obeisances, we should be very grateful and honor it next day. Because Lord Jagannath Prasad is very, very auspicious. It's as good as not different. It is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Denying the mercy of Supreme Lord is not a good sign. So, as I was explaining one of the past time in the previous class, one of the devotee king has taken, instead of right hand, he took it left hand. That itself we thought this is sinful, this is an offense. So then he got his hand cut. Because then from that burying that flower tree came. So then that was the offered Damanaka flowers. Lord Jagannath is wearing even till today that festival happens. So it's very important to understand this. Following the diet and the treatment, both are very important, which is the hearing process must be done very consistently. On Ekadashi day, we have to hear at least few minutes a day, few minutes at least from Srila Prabhupada, other than our chanting, because it helps. One must try to visit temple if possible. We must plan accordingly ahead of the time. So, because it is very important. This is how Shastra is even describing, instructing. So, in Narsinga Chaturdashi class also I had explained. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatana Goswami. Please make sure that you write details how to observe Ekadasi, how to observe this important festival, Narsinga Chaturdashi, Ram Navami, Janmashtami, all these festivals. Very important because it brings lot of mercy. One must take as per the appearance day of Lord Jagannath. Let's try to finish this verse, 4 verses, then we'll come to Jagannath Snan Purnima. It's very important. Lot of details to be discussed. So this verse is describing these two immediate aspects of treatment and diet. One must try to follow regularly. as much as possible. My tongue always gets tempted to taste the different thing which is not offered to Lord Krishna. But as much as possible, try your best. It requires more and more. We are used to it, then we don't want to taste anything and everything. We will ready to fast, but we will not take it. That's how strict we will become. But it requires a lot of practice. So then, other than that, so where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining, so as I mentioned, one must come to the Nishta stage. That's when actual real Sankirtan, all the senses will be really agitated, absorbed in the holy name, glories of the holy name. Right now we are chanting, but really the heart and the senses are not agitated, is not in the fully Vijnana stage. Senses are not awakened fully, as Rupa Goswami chants one verse in Antalila, one of the verse where he is explaining that I want 1,000 mouths, 1,000 ears, 1,000 tongues. So beautiful verse glorifying the Krishna by simply two syllables of Krishna itself. I want to have that so much. He is getting that all the senses, everything becomes so absorbed, ecstatic. It becomes. We are not in that stage because we are in the not in the Nishta stage. We are in a lot of anardhana with a lot of different modes we are operating. Ignorance and passion more than goodness. Sometimes maybe mixed, but mostly in the lower mode than the goodness. So that is the first and foremost. Then Prabhupada is explaining, Jiva Goswami is explaining, one must execute or transfer all the activities into Krishna's service or whatever we may be doing, whatever type of job, whatever activities we may be doing, gradually we must come to the Yukta Ahara Vihara, Yukta Vairagya, Anasaktasya Vishayan, Yataram Upayanjita, Krishna Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Uchate, Anasaktan Vishayan means one must utilize our material propensities to engage in Krishna's service. So that's why Krishna is explaining here that Abhyasena. Abhyasena to Kaunteya Vairagyena Drishyate. He didn't say Tyaga. He didn't say renounce. He said Vairagyena Drishyate. Vairagya is different. Detachment. Internal detachment. It is that means Yukta Vairagya. Utilizing everything in service of the Lord. Even if you have, okay, if you want to eat Rasgulla, okay, offer to Lord Krishna and eat. So, like that. If you have propensity to do something, some activity, and you might as well do it for the Lord. So that way, gradually, we develop detachment. More we do that for the pleasure of the Lord. That's why Jiva Goswami is quoting this verse for this point. It is just like the tasting when somebody tastes food, Krishna Prasad as per Bhaktir Pareshanubhavo Viraktir Anyaptasyat पुष्टि पुष्टि क्षुद अपाय यथास्मत् त्र एककाल प्रपद्यमान तुष्टि पुष्टि क्षुद अपाय अनुगासम. So just like one when is somebody is tasting, so tushti first he will get satisfaction. He is very hungry. When he tastes, what will happen? First he will be satisfied. Oh, nice, satisfied. So that is the bhakti. By performing bhakti in the association of devotees who are developed attachment to the Lord and Guru and Sadhu, then we will be satisfied. So by being in that consciousness, by being in their association, by following these devotional activities, that is the first aspect. How we can control the mind. Artificially, we cannot control the mind. Even going to wherever yoga process, like Saubhani Muni or Viswamitra or many other Charvak Muni or whoever, so many yogis, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to control otherwise. So this is the first thing. Bhakti Pareshanubhava. Then we will get realizations, direct experience, because we are in the association of those devotees who has experienced it, who has realizations. By in their association, by chanting, by hearing, by tasting Krishna Prasad, by serving together in their association, by observing how they do services, how Sri Prabhupada has done it, how his spiritual masters today, disciple of Sri Prabhupada is doing it. Then this is how I should do the service, how much meekly, humbly they are doing. So, but we are nothing compared to them. But why we are so proud of what we do? So why we are revealing what we do? Oh, I do this, so many things, this, that. We give the list, but they never claim to all these things. The great devotees, they do, but less talk, but do more action. So that's why it's very important to observe. That is one of the principles when we do the Vapu Seva. Observe, be sober and observe how the spiritual master, how the advanced devotees does conduct the activities of devotion service. Then by following in their footsteps, Tadanugagi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akilam Mite Upadesa Saram, verse number 8 of his Nectar of Instruction. Anugami, following the previous Acharya is very important. So then Paresh Anubhava will happen, direct experience, realizations, ourselves will get some transformation in the heart. We feel really blissful getting the realization ourselves. That is like the pushti, nourishment. As you eat, you are satisfied, but also same time you are getting nourished throughout the muscles and everything. So that is the second aspect. Bhakti pareshanu viraktir anyat. Then the detachment will automatically happen. Even if somebody tells you to eat this wonderful items, 108 items on Ekadasi day, you will not eat it. You will not eat because you don't have any taste for whatever it may be. It may be everything you like. Even if it is Krishna Prasad, also you will not take it on Ekadasi day. Especially Pandav Nirjala Ekadasi, nothing to be taken. But it's not easy. It requires practice. But it's very important. So this natural detachment will happen. Bhakti Pareshanu Viraktur Anyatrasya. Three Ekakala. One time, simultaneously it will happen. Then hunger will be removed. As we taste Krishna Prasad, hunger is no more hunger. Even if somebody brings so many food stuff, because you are not hungry, you ate enough, you are not hungry, you don't want to take anymore. Like that, a person will feel. Those who are in this association of devotees executing devotion practices, services constantly in the footsteps of previous acharyas and their representative, then we'll be able to feel that. This is that is what here Lord Krishna is mentioning. Abhyas. What kind of practice? Not our own ideas and thoughts. This is how I should do it. No. This is following the previous Acharya's footsteps. We should practice, not our own ways. No, it is not possible. It won't transform. It won't. We won't get Pareshanubhava. Realization will not be able to get. Neither will get detachment. Internal detachment will never happen because we are not following in the previous acharyas. Because Lord is seeing how much we are following. To that degree, Lord is transforming our hearts. So that's why it is very important. So Dhruv Maharaj himself is showing. Is showing what is he asking when Lord appeared? What is he asking? He's asking. There's a beautiful verse in the chapter 8, Canto 4, chapter 8. Beautiful verse of Dhruv Maharaj, where he's praying to, is offering beautiful prayers, but in that one verse is describing the what he wants actually. Uh, yeah. भक्तिं मुहुः प्रवहतां त्वयि मे प्रसङ्गो भूयादनन्तमहताम् अमलाशयानाम् येनाञ्जसा उल्बनं गुरुव्यसनं भवाद्भि नेस्ये भवद्गुणकथामृतपानमत्ता भक्तिं मुहुः भक्तिं in bhakti. So translation by Srila Prabhupada. O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly. Bhakti muhu pravahatam, like rivers flow constantly to the ocean, same way, let my devotion be also in the same way because by following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. That's it. Bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly. He's saying, you see, Lord is personally in front. What is he asking? He's asking his devotees. He's not asking you be present, always be before me. No, he's asking his devotees to be present. those who are unalloyed devotees. This is the quality of advanced devotee. It's a very, very important aspect. As the waves of the river constantly flow, such transcendental devotees are completely situated in uncontaminated state of life. That's why it is mentioned prasanga, prakrushta rupena sanga. They can only cut our anarthas. Bhuyad ananta mahatam amalasayanam. Very purifying, amalasayanam. Mahatam, great devotees. Eranjasa ulbanam uru vyasanam bhavadhi. By that, what will happen? Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotion service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence. Uru vyasanam. Great difficulty, great disturbances, agitations, so many anartha, so many unwanted things we have in the heart. By their association, Bhavatbi, by their mercy, Iranjasa, Anjasa, by their mercy, then Nesye Bhavat Guna Katamrata Panamatta. I will become mad like them in the thinking, chanting, and hearing the glories of your Lord's lotus feet. Which is filled with the waves of blazing forest fire like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existence. So Prabhupada is making the point and the purport. The significant the point in Dhruva Maharaj's statement is that he wanted the association of pure devotees. Transcendental devotion service cannot be complete, cannot be realizable without the association of devotees. This is what I am talking. Bhakti Paresha Anubhava. Otherwise, you can't do for many years. You may do, but you don't have any relishment. It becomes monotonous. You don't have energy. You don't have enthusiasm. We just do it as a duty. We're not really developing any taste inside the heart for the chanting or for the service. That's what we see. It's everywhere in today. And when Prabhupada was there, it was not like that. Because they're constantly, when Prabhupada was there, they were rushing like anything. It is a lifetime of opportunity. They never miss it. And even without Prabhupada, they used to come regular. They used to follow exact instructions of Prabhupada. If he tells him to go here and do it, open the temples and do this, set up everything, and execute devotion service, they are ready to do, jump and do anything and everything, following. So that's why here it is mentioning. Pareshan will never happen. Will never develop taste otherwise. We have therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning, we have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna Consciousness Society and yet engage in Krishna consciousness is living in a great hallucination. See that point? Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna Consciousness Society, that means without the association, doing our own ways, following our own ideas and thoughts, not going to work. So this is not possible. From this statement by Dhruva Maharaj, it is clear that unless one is associated with devotees, his devotion service does not mature. It does not become distinct from material activities. The Lord says, Satam Prasangat, I quoted before, 3:25-25, that is Lord Kapila is instructing Mother Devoti. Only in the association of pure devotees can the words of Lord Krishna be fully potent and realizable to the heart and ear. Dhruva Maharaj explicitly wanted the association of devotees. That association and devotional activities is just like the waves of an incessantly flowing river. In our Krishna Consciousness Society, we have full engagement 24 hours a day. Every moment of our time is always busily engaged in the service of the Lord. This is called incessant flow of devotion service. I see that very important statement. But who is interested these days in service? Very, very, it's not easy. It's not easy. After COVID, it's even more, it became more difficult. So, this is how Maya is very strong. That's why Arjuna is submitting. So, Chanchalam Himana, it's more difficult to control than wind. Mind, because mind is taking us away from the Supreme Lord and His service and His devotees, especially His pure devotees. So it is so important. Dhruva is praying despite Lord being present personally. You can understand how important that's why Prabhupada is making that purport significant, Prabhupada is mentioning. So that's why we have to take it at most seriousness in that aspect of taking every association. If you are coming for Yatra tomorrow, you make sure not so much about the picture, this and that. Here, here the Kirtan, as well as the sannyasis, those who are advanced, here, grab, try to hear, try to be in the association, try to serve in whatever way you can. That is the best part. Otherwise, the festival or all so many other things will go on. Obviously, we'll take Lord Jagannath's mercy, darshan, pull the heart. But who has understood Lord, who has received Lord Jagannath's mercy? That is by the advanced devotees carrying Lord Jagannath in the heart. By his mercy, Lord wants to come and give the association. So that's why Lord Jagannath is coming out to give mercy to everyone. But he wants to be also in the association of few devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all his associates to be pulled. Same way, all his devotees, those who are constantly attached to the Lord. So that's why he is coming out. Then at the same time, he is also giving mercy to all others. But they must uh, follow in the footsteps of these advanced devotees. Then Lord Jagannath's mercy will be more and more clear in our hearts. So that's what this verse is describing, how to control, how to follow the practice clearly. So bhakti can be done, everybody can do bhakti, simple, but it must be done only following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas and here and follow the instructions very strictly. So that way, then we can develop real detachment internally. Otherwise, material activities will go on. So may not never develop a taste. So now we'll jump to already till 746. We'll jump to material consciousness, material sickness into transcendental fever. So Lord Jagannath's pastime is described Jagannath Snan Purnima, Deva Snan Purnima it is called. It is the day which is established by Lord Indrajimna Maharaj, King Indrajimna, great devotee of the Lord Jagannath, who has established the deities on this specific day. Lord Brahma had installed them and perform this abhishek, bathing. And any installation, there's a lot of bathing, but it's not like anywhere close to Lord Jagannath's bathing, Snan Purnima, not like the Jesta Purnima. So it happens. It is a very long. We have seen in our installation at our temple, Sri Radha Shyam Sundar deity installation, maximum 1-2 hours, but it is a much more elaborate, huge festival here because Lord Jagannath is giving his mercy much longer period. Nobody on birthday, everybody wants to do party, but here Lord Jagannath is giving his mercy. So let's read through it. First, we'll start from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then we'll try to understand from Niladri Mahodaya also. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela Srila Prabhupada is making, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining this in multiple chapters. Madhya Leela chapter 1, then chapter 13, chapter 11, chapter 10, few places. Anavasre Jagannadher na Pana Darshana Virahe Alarnad Karila Gamana. This is in chapter 1 of Madhya Leela 122. When Jagannath was absent from the temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who could not see him, felt separation and left Jagannath Puri to go to a place known as Alarnath. This is Lord Brahma. Has been told, Lord Jagannath, as Neela Madhav told Lord Brahma, you be there. He was concerned how this conditioned soul will be delivered like Narada Muni. So then Lord Brahma, by the instruction of Neela Madhav, Lord Jagannath in first Parardha, first 50 years of Lord Brahma's life, he started meditating at this place, Brahmagiri it is called. That is where Alarnath. Since we are there, I'll show you quickly the picture of Alarnath and Lord Jagannath's also, so that way you see. Right, where are we? Talking to my share. You all see, this is the Alarnath deity, Lord Vishnu. Lord Jagannath is appearing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself runs towards the deity very close to Lord Jagannath Puri temple. When Lord goes on the Anavasara period for 15 days, he runs, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu runs like anything. He was so much distraught that he is not able to see. Then, so there is another picture also, which is Lord Jagannath after bathing. Is Lord Jagannath is wearing a hathi vesh. So that also I'll show you. Leave them. We'll go back discussion. This is the hathi vesh of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, after a lot of bathing, many hours of bathing, Lord Jagannath wears to satisfy one of the devotee who wants to see only Lord Ganesha. Then Lord Jagannath wears this hathi vesh, elephant mukha, elephant face. And Lord Subhadra Maharani wears lotus flower vesh, lotus flower outfit. So that's what it is now. Going back to the Chaitanya Charitamrita explaining, we're discussing there. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, where I mentioned, felt separation from Lord Jagannath Puri and went to Alarnath. Alarnath, known also as Brahmagiri, the place is about 14 miles from Jagannath Puri and is also on the beach. There is a temple of Jagannath there. At the present moment, police station, post office are situated there because so many people come to see the temple. The word Anavasara is used where Sri Jagannath Ji cannot be seen in the temple after the bathing ceremony Snan Yatra. Lord Jagannath apparently becomes sick. He is therefore removed to his private apartment. When no one can see him actually during this period, renovations are made on the body of Jagannath deity. This is called Navayavana Vesh. July 30th, June 30th, Navayavana Vesh at our temple. Day before the Puri Rath Yatra, actual day Rath Yatra on July 1st. During the Rath Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath once again comes before the public. Thus, for 15 days after the bathing ceremony, Lord Jagannath is not visible to any visitors. Further again, Bhakta Sane Dina Kata Tahani Rahila Gaure Bhakta Aise Samachara Paila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained for some days at Alarnath. In the meantime, he received news that all the devotees from Bengal were coming to Jagannath Puri. Virahe Vihpalo Prabhu na jane Ratri dine Hena Kale Aila Gaurera Bhakta Gane. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally left Alarnath to return to Jagannath Puri, he was overwhelmed both day and night due to separation from Jagannatha. His lamentation knew no bounds. During this time, all the devotees from different parts of Bengal and especially from Navadvip arrived in Jagannath Puri. Further it is explained. Sabha mili yukta kari kirtana arambila kirtana veshe prabhura mana stira hila. After due consideration, all the devotees began chanting the holy name congregationally because to satisfy, to appease the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was in deep separation from Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya's mind was thus pacified by the ecstasy of chanting. Prabhupada is making a purport. Being absolute in all circumstances, Lord Jagannath's person, form, picture, and kirtan are all identical. Therefore, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, he was pacified. Previously, he had been feeling very morose due to separation from Lord Jagannath. Conclusion is that whenever there is a kirtan of pure devotees takes place, you hear that pure devotees. The Lord is immediately present. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, we associate with the Lord. Further, this is in 10th chapter now, 1041, Madhyalila. Jagannatha Sevaka Yei Nama Janardana Anavasar Kare Prabhura Sri Anga Sevana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first introduced Janardana, saying, here is Janardana, servant of Lord Jagannath. He renders service to the Lord when it is time to renovate his transcendental body. During Anavasara, after the Snan Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath is absent from the temple for 15 days, so he can be renovated. This occurs annually. Janardana, who is here being introduced to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was rendering this service at the time. The renovation of Lord Jagannath is also known as Navayavana, which indicates that Lord Jagannath's deity is being fully restored to youth, because constant bathing, the top layer of that paint goes away. Then, so that's why they repaint. So full youth, nice, fully painted on the wooden log. If you are just a whole pastime, I'm not explaining that. That everybody, most of you know. Then chapter 11, where this further explained. Snana yatra kabe have puchila batare brata kahe Tina Dine Acharya Yatrare. When the king Pratapudra asked Bhattacharya when the bathing ceremony Snan Yatra of Lord Jagannath would take place, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied that there were only 3 days left before the ceremony. Raja re Prabho diya bata gela nijalaya Snana Yatra dine Prabhura Ananda Hridaya. After thus encouraging the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya returned home. On that day of Lord Jagannath bathing ceremony, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy at heart. स्नान यात्रा देखी प्रभु रहिला बड़ा सुख ईश्वरेर अनवसरे पहिला बड़ा दुख. Upon seeing the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. But when Lord Jagannath retired after the ceremony, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very unhappy because he could not see him. Gopi bhave virahe Prabhu vyakula hana alarnath gela Prabhu savare chadiya. Why? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Lord Krishna, in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So, due to the separation from Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt the same great anxiety the gopis felt in separation from Krishna. In this condition, he gave up all the association and went to Alarnath. This is how gopis feel even a moment. Ivayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrushaitam sunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahenami. Aslishavam padaratam vinastu mam marmahatam karoti va yata tata vatulam pato mat prananadastu sayevanapra. They have only Lord Krishna as Prananath. Nobody else, not even Lord Narayan, no one else. Only Lord Krishna, exclusively. Ekantiki bhakti, Ananya bhakti, Uttama bhakti. So that is their only goal. That's why they have so much unflinching, undeviated, uninterrupted. They will do anything and everything for Lord Krishna. So that is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood is exhibiting. In 13th chapter, this is now. Baliha Daita Gela Yena Matta Haiti Jagannatha Vijaya Karaya Kari Hata Hati. The very strongly built Daitas. There are Savaras, is called Savaras. There are the Daitas, they are called Daitas. Savaras means Viswabasu was the one who was worshipping first 50 years, Nela Madhav, worshipped by Viswabasu, who was in the lineage of lower caste who maintain pigs and all. So Lord is very merciful. So, but in the same caste, in the same Savaras, they are also Brahmanas. So that's why you see the description here, how Lord Jagannath engaged. The very strongly built Daitas, the carriers of Lord Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephant. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car. This is for Rath Yatra. Even for Snan Yatra also they carry in the same fashion. Pahandi Vijay, they call. Pandu Vijaya. We will go through that quickly. Already time is running short. Purport, proposition. The word Daita refers to one who has received the mercy of the Lord. Lord Jagannath has a number of stalwart servants as Daitas. Those servants do not come from very high caste families. But because they are engaged in service of the Lord, they have been elevated to a respected position. They are known as Daitas. These servants of Lord Jagannath take care of the Lord from the day of Snan Yatra up to the time of Lord is carried from the throne to the Ratha Yatra cart. So Savaras, because they both were fighting, Indradyumna Maharaj and Viswabasu. So Lord said, don't fight. You will be able to serve throughout the year. Indradyumna Maharaj, I have ate enough your fruits and roots. Now I'm going to take these 56 items. So different. But you will also be engaged those 15 days anniversary period and also during the festival times. They will be engaged, the Savaras. That's what has been explained here. However, among the Daityas, there are also many who come from the Brahmana caste. Those Daitas coming from the Brahmana families are called Daitapatis. The Daitapatis offer foods such as sweetmeats to Lord Jagannath during the Anavasara, in the resting period after Swanayatra. They also make the early morning offering of sweetmeats daily. It is said that during the Anavasara, Lord Jagannath suffered from fever that the Daitapatis offer him an infusion of drugs represented by fruit juice. It is said that in the beginning, Lord Jagannath was worshipped by Savaras, was known as the deity Neelamadhav. Later, when the deity is established in the temple, Lord became known as Jagannatha. Because the deities were taken from Savaras, all the Savaras devotees are elevated to the position of Daitas. 13th chapter further, another verse. Panchadasa Dina Ishwara Mahalakshmi Lana Tandra Sangye Krishna Kaila Nibrata Vasiya. For 15 days, the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the supreme goddess of fortune and had performed his pastimes with her. The 15-day period of Anavasara is also called Nivruta, in honor of the solitary place where the Supreme Goddess of Fortune lives. After the living there fortnight, Lord Jaganath took permission from the Goddess of Fortune to leave. So, in this way, we can understand. Now, we will discuss. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Now, we will describe from there is a nice pastime from Murari Gupta Karcha. So, yeah, let me quickly run through. So, Ekada, wow. Ekada Tavan Kana Krishna Sri Damodara Panditam Satya Kataya Man Matu Krishna Bhakti Dastikim. One day, Gaura Krishna inquired from Sri Damodar Pandit, tell me truly, mother's devotion, my mother's devotion firmly fixed at the feet of Sri Krishna. Srutva sa prah sa krodha tat prasadat pratvai sasti Krishna rasa bhakti nityananda surupini. Hearing this, Damodar angrily replied, it is by her unbounded mercy upon you that goddess of bhakti, whose nature is full of eternal bliss, exists in you. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu warmly embraced that learned Vipra and mercifully said, my friend, certainly what you said is to me is all true. Indeed, it is solely by her order that I reside in Sri Kshetra. Even then, the power of her love draws me in her presence. Thereafter, in the company of his devotees with his elder brother Sri Hari, he saw with great happiness the grand celebration of Lord Jagannath's bathing festival. Tato anavasara vikya Rama Madhavayo Prabhu sa bhakto dukkha santapo gatva api alala natakam. Seeing that the lordships Rama and Madhava were absent during that period after the bathing ceremony was known as Anavasara, Mahaprabhu's heart burned with sorrow and he left with his bhaktas to see Alarnath. He stayed there for 7 days gazing at the deity of Alarnath, then swiftly returned to look upon the protector of the universe and his elder brother. The sight was a great festival for his eyes. संकीर्तन रसानंदे नर्त स्वजनैः सह भक्त अभिमानी भगवान नित्यानंद करार्षितः. Inspired by the joys of Sankirtan Ras, Gaura Bhagavan, the bestower of love upon his devotees, danced in their company while holding the Nityananda's hand. Returned to his own room, surrounded by his bhaktas, Sri Hari enjoyed the Mahaprasad brought by a devotee and thus he shone in happiness. Continuously inebriated by Ananda, Sri Gaurachandra then went swiftly in the company of his devotees to see the splendid chariot festival of the greatly opulent Lords Hari and Rama. When he saw the killer of Madhu and Lord Rama seated on their chariots and also Subhadra accompanied by the Sudarshan Chakra on their chariot, Mahaprabhu joyously bowed down before them along with his elder brother. As the chariots went speedily to Gundicha Mandir, they approached as high as Mount Sumeru. The moon of Gaura, along with his company of bhaktas, went before Jagannath Swami, fully absorbed in the varieties of ecstatic moods. Beholding the lotus feet of Jagannath, they were recalling the vast magnificence of Kurukshetra. Sri Hari, together with his assembly of bhaktas, were submerged in an ocean of blissful Sankirtan. Highly intoxicated by the affliction of Sri Radhika's love for Krishna, Gauranga sometimes laughed, sometimes wept as he addressed Lord Jagannath. Hey Nath, I am going to Brajamandala, please come with me there, where the sweet sound of the bamboo flute is heard in the Vrindavana forest bores. So saying, the elephant of Gauranga mind, utterly drowned within the sea of sweet dance and song, he swiftly reached Gundicha Mandir together with the Lord of the universe, who was seated on his chariot. Rama and Janardana entered together into the radiant temple and sat on the shining altars of gems. Seeing them happily situated, Gauranga felt the mood of Radharani and asked Krishna, have you now come home? Using the tumultuous roar of the crowds as his voice, Sri Hari replied in a very sweet tone, yes, I have indeed returned to Vrindavan. Then, eager to taste the happiness of their own original rasa, he became replete with all divine ecstasies, and with Sri Radha entered the most charming of all groves of Vrindavan. Beholding the magnificent arrangement for Jagannath Dev's enjoyment of this Adi Rasa, Gaurahari, together with his bhaktas, performed a great kirtana. मंदारण्य विलासिनो मुररिपो श्री रासलीला शुभा शाखा देव विलास लास्य लहरी पूर्ण मनम श्रीहरि श्री राधा रस माधुरी धुरी तनुर गौरांग मूर्ति स्वया श्री नंदात्मज एव भक्ति रसिका स्वराज्य लक्ष्मी ददे. Beautiful verse. Sri Gaurari experienced his own limitless wave of pastime dancing to be none other than the sublime Vrindavan Rasalila performed by the enemy of Mura. Surely Sri Gauranga is none other than the same son of Nanda come to release the super excellence of Sri Radha Rasa, but he has now appeared in the form of Rasika Bhakta in order to distribute the wealth of his sovereign realm of Goloka. This is from Murari Gupta Karacha. Now let's see. Snan Yatra, what is the significance? And then we will read the Snan Yatra details, what kind of rituals they follow. Snan Yatra signifies, first and foremost thing, Lord Jaganath is engaging all the devotees, various devotees, Daitas, Daitapatis, Pandas, and various devotees, various associates. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is coming with his various associates. Everybody is engaged. Various kinds of water, 108 pitchers of water brought from Snan Kuva. There is a lake, there is a river, or there is a well, not lake, river, well. It is called well. It is called Snan Kuva. In golden pots. How many pots each deity, Lord Jagannath, Lord Baladev, and Subhadra Maharani was bathed, that is mentioned. And Niladri Mahoday will read. This is from Snan Kuva, which is a temple called near Sitala temple, close to Lord Jagannath's Puri temple. This temple is there. Nearby that, this well is there. Even now, it is there for quite some time, very ancient, this Snan Kuva. From there, they obtain this water. Everybody covers their mouth with the kerchief, because so that it doesn't get contaminated. So that's why when we do cook in the deity kitchen, especially for the deities, we must have a head cap. We must cut the nails. So we must try to always be careful of any contamination. If hair falls, that's it. You can't offer. Your nail touching anything, not offerable. So all these are the Prabhupada has instructed clearly. Hair must be cut, shaving must be done regularly. So Sri Prabhupada gave clear instructions to many Matajis also and Prabhus also in the beginning itself. Sri Prabhupada is very strict because it's very important. Especially Jagannath Puri temple, they are very strict in all the rituals. So these 108 pots are brought. So that is first thing. So the one instruction there is where how Lord engages everything to be utilized in the service of the Lord. So that's why on Snan Yatra day we must bring something. We must try to bring as much as possible different cloths, ornaments, and fruits, various fruits. In Balagandi festival, there is a description, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 11, I think. There, the description is there. So many types of fruits, some oranges, mangoes, coconuts, and so many types of juices, so many types of cakes, so many types of saag, vegetables. All these descriptions are so many types of special sweets. So many are mentioned. At least some of them are very easily obtainable. We can take it. So Balagandi festival is as the Lord Jagannath goes on Rath Yatra. In the middle, where Lord Jagannath is gone to Jagannath Vallabh garden. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking rest in Jagannath Vallabh. Lord is also taking rest there. Both sides there are nice decorations. Now it is not nicely maintained, Jagannath Vallabh garden. Otherwise, it's a beautiful garden. So that is the first instruction. How to engage everything, utilizing everything in the service of the Lord, as I mentioned, Rupa Goswami's verse. Anasaktasya vishyan yatarham upayanjita nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam. This is the real renunciation. Yukta vairagya. How to utilize everything in the service of the Lord. That is the first instruction we can see from Jagannath Snan Yatra. And the second instruction, we see that Lord is getting fever. That is second instruction. Lord Jagannath is getting fever, transcendental sickness. But we have the material fear, especially at the time of death. If you don't follow the process given by the acharyas, given in the Shastra, especially for Kali Yuga, especially the methods, the treatment and the diet given, we don't follow what we have to face at the time of death. It is called fever. What is the fever? It is explained. Narada Muni is explaining to this King Prachina Barhi is giving allegorically is explaining what you will face through the gross body and subtle body. The gross body and subtle body. Gross body is explained that he will go through the fever 107 degrees or above the temperature. He cannot, nothing, none of his senses. It is like a fever, high fever. It is like a fire only. There is no way you can remember anything. Your senses, none of the senses will work at that point of time. It is explained, fourth chapter, chapter number 28, verse number 11. Baya namno agrajo brata prajvara. It is called jvara. What kind of fever? Prajvara. Pratyupatishta dadahatam puri Krishna bratu priya chikirshaya. Under the circumstances, the elder brother of Yavana Raja, known as Prajvara, set fire to the city to please his younger brother, whose other name is fear itself. And the purport, Prabhupada explained, dead body is set on fire, but before the death there is another fire or fever which is called Prajvara or Vishnu Jvara. Medical science verifies that when one's temperature is raised to 107 degrees, a man immediately dies. This Prajvara or high fever at the last stage of life places the living entity in the midst of blazing fire. So, when the city was set ablaze, all the citizens and servants of the king, as well as all the family members, sons, grandsons, wives, and other relatives were within the fire. King Puranjana thus became very unhappy. Who are all these? Wife and family members, sons, grandsons. They are represented by various senses, karmendriyas, gnanendriyas, and various parts of the body. All these, nothing will work. Nothing will help support the living entity. And that's what explained. There are many parts of the body, the senses, the limb, the skin, muscles, blood, marrow. All these are considered here figuratively as sons, grandsons, citizens, dependents. When the body is attacked by Vishnu Jwala, the fiery condition becomes so acute that sometimes one remains in coma. You can see, if one who doesn't follow, they want to be in material sickness, then they cannot get transcendental happiness at the end of life. If they follow the previous, as I described in the beginning, how Dhruva Maharaj is instructing, be in the association of devotees, one must follow by observing them and following in their instructions. So if not, it will be like this. The situation will be like this. It is unbearable. At the time of being in the body, womb of mother, in the 9th month, 8th month, when the living entity gets consciousness, same, it's unbearable. Pain is unbearable. He's praying to Lord, please take me out, please take me out. It's a miserable condition. And at the time of death, it is even more. So here it is explained. This means that the body is in such a severe pain that one becomes unconscious, cannot feel the miseries taking place within the body. Indeed, living entity becomes so helpless at the time of death that although unwilling, is forced to give up the body and enter another. Gross body is finished. Now subtle body is talking about. Now subtle body is being talked about. The city's superintendent of police, this is subtle body. The serpent, represented by subtle body, saw that the citizens were being attacked by Kalakanya, and he became very aggrieved to see his own residence set ablaze after being attacked by the Yavanas. The living entity is covered by two different types of bodies, the gross body and the subtle body. At death, we can see that gross body is finished, but actually the living entity is carried by the subtle body to another gross body. The so-called scientists of the modern age cannot see how the subtle body is working in carrying the soul from one body to another. This subtle body has been figuratively described as serpent or the city's police superintendent. When there is fire everywhere, what the police superintendent cannot escape either. When there is security and an absence of fire in the city, the police superintendent can impose his authority upon the citizen. But when there is an all-out attack on the city, is rendered useless. Or as the light air was ready to leave the gross body, the subtle body also began to experience severe pain. This is what happens when we don't follow. When we don't follow, we don't want to take another body. We don't want to go through this kind of experience. We want to go through a pleasant experience, change the body, develop a spiritual body, transcendental transformation. Then we must follow Lord Jaganath's mercy, take the mercy. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associate, by following in their footsteps, by Sankirtan, by hearing, by performing service regularly, consistently, day after day. That is our bread and butter. That is our blood. That is only our actual real energy. That is the energy which sustains the whole life. Whole life. So, if you follow further, yes, as a serpent living within the cavity of a tree wishes to leave when there is a forest fire, so the city's police superintendent, the snake, wished to leave the city due to the fire's severe heat. It becomes very difficult for snake to leave a forest when there is a fire. Other animals may flee due to their long legs, but serpents only being able to crawl are generally burned in the fire. At the last stage, the limbs of the body are not as much as affected as the live air. The limbs of the serpent's body were slackened by Gandharvas and Yavana soldiers who had thoroughly defeated his bodily strength. At the last stage of life, the different gates of the body are choked by the effects of disease, which are caused by imbalance of bile, mucus, air. Thus, the living entity cannot clearly express his difficulties. Surrounding relatives hear the sound gur gur from a dying man. In his Mukunda Mala Stotra, King Kulasekara is praying. That's why King Kulasekara is praying. When I'm everything, all my senses are working, ears, eyes, everything is working. Please take me at this time because my mind is attached to your lotus feet like a swan. Krishna Tvadiya Padapankada Panjarantam Advaita Manasame Rajahams Kantavarodana Vidho Swaranam Kutaste Kapavata Pittaya Santavarodana Vidho Swaranam Kutaste. Let me remember the lotus feet, your lotus feet of Lord. Oh my Lord, now you take me away. So otherwise, I don't know. If it is too, when I'm too old, what my senses will do, I may not be able to remember because even though relatives, everybody is there, but you are not in a condition to explain anything because nothing will work. Nothing, not a single thing will work. So this will be our situation if we don't follow the process given, checked out. That's why it's a material happiness to transcend material sickness to transcendental happiness. This Lord Jaganath Snan Yatra reflection is this, and engaging everything in service of that is second. So, because he is the supreme enjoyer, that's why on Lord Jaganath Snan Yatra you see everybody is engaged so much absorbed in serving the Lord. Everybody is engaged in offering different bhogas, bringing water. Everybody is engaged. Nobody is left out. Everybody is engaged. Bhoktaram Ignatapsam Sarvalok Maheswaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam Jnatmamam Santam. Only peace is when you think Lord is the enjoyer, Lord is the maintainer, Lord is the protector. You have full confidence, full faith that Lord will protect me, Lord will maintain me. If He is maintaining so many living entities, then why not He will maintain? If He is maintaining atheists also, why not He will maintain? The devotee who is constantly thinking of Him, of course He will maintain. Lord is after running after them. Puyeta Adivi. Angri Renu Padma Puyeta. Adi. Angri Renuvi is taking the dust, is running behind the pure devotees. So that's why it is very important to know. So now, during the bathing festival, Devasnana Purnima, the deities of the temple have a bathing with 108 pots of cold water to fight the heat of the summer. After this royal bath ceremony, the three deities are sick. They stay away from the public view for a period of 15 days. This period is known as Anavasara period. Commences from Jyeshta Purnima and ends with Ashada Amavasya. During these days, the deities stay away from the public view and there is a need to substitute images for public to whom the daily rituals can be offered to the temple. So during this time, in Jagannath Puri, this is not other temples. Other temples may be doing, but our temple, we just have a regular picture of Lord Jagannath Baldeswara. But in Jagannath Puri, this is how it happens. The three painting patta, it is called three patta. Three patta paintings of Lord Jagannath. One minute. So during this time, three patta paintings of Lord Jagannath, Lord Baladev, Goddess Subhadra are worshipped in the temple. These patta paintings are known as Anavasara Patti. Anavasara Patti. During the Anavasara period, the door of Pratipaban, the representative image of Lord Jagannath worshipped at the right side of Simhadwar, the main entrance of the temple, is also closed. Besides the three main patta paintings, another small Anavasara Patti is also prepared for Pratipaban and placed in front of the door of the public view. Two looks like. And then what these names of the deities are being mentioned. That's why you see sometimes in the temple they put big picture that is coming up. Preparation of Anavasarapati begins from Jyeshta Amavasya. On this day, the temple Chitrakas received pieces of cloth from Jagannath temple administration to use as pattas, canvas. A group of 10 to 15 artists under the guidance of chief artist work on the paintings and paint the images of Sri Ananta Narayan. This is Lord Jagannath. Sri Ananta Vasudev, this is Lord Balaram, and Goddess Bhuvaneswari. That's in one of the when you second initiate, one of the mantra I also read, Subhadra Maharani, is I am Bhuvaneswaraya Namaha. Subhadra Maharani, another name, is also Bhuvaneswari. That's what is mentioned. The three paintings represent the three deities. Sri Ananta Narayan represents Lord Jaganath. Sri Ananta Vasudev is Lord Balabhadra, and Goddess Bhuvaneswari represents Goddess Subhadra. Each patta painting is made in cloth of 5.5 feet long, 4 feet wide. It takes 15 days to finish the Anavasara Patti. After completion, priests from Puri Jagannath temple come to the chief artist house with a garland, Argya, Agyan Mala. As per the tradition, special puja is performed at his house, and after the puja, Anavasar Patti is rolled and tied with a piece of cloth and then carried to Jagannath temple by Chitrakaras, the temple priest, in a ceremonial procession, accompanied by him, Bhajan, Kirtan, Mridanga, and Ghanta. A 30 temporary partition wall made of bamboo is constructed in the front of the original deities. On this bamboo thing, the three patta paintings are placed as the representatives of three deities. Three deities represent traditional form of Narayan, Vasudev, Bhuvaneswari with their usual attributes. Narayan is carrying Sankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma with his forearms. Vasudev is holding Sankha, Gada, Hala and Musala. This is the plow and the stick. Bhuvaneswari holds two lotuses. So this is the one description. Now further description has been given of Snan Purnima in Niladri Mahodaya and other places. Month of Jyeshtha is considered birthday of Lord Jagannath. According to Skanda Puran, Raja Indradyumna, who installed the wooden deities, introduced the idea of giving them a bath. Niladri Mahodaya, Jalija's text in the Orissa records, explains the rituals of Sanyatra festival in great detail. The deities are bathed by 108 pitchers of water drawn from a well situated near the Sitala temple in the confines of Jagannath temple. There is a view that, like all other major festivals, Sanyatra has direct links with the agrarian calendar on the state. Sitala Sashti, popular festival in Western Odisha, is also believed to have been a monsoon-related celebration held to invoke the rain god to soak the patched fields and ready them for plowing for the next sowing season. So it looks like connected. A day before Snan Yatra, the three deities of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, along with the image of Sudarshana, are taken out from the sanctorium in a procession to the Snan Vedi or Snan Mandap within a temple precinct. The bathing platform is at such a height that visitors standing outside the temple, this is Grand Road, can easily get a good view of the deities and the ritual bath. After the bath, the deities are dressed up in the Gajan and Hathi Vesh, and their daily offering or Bogalagi is made on the Snan Mandap in full public view. In general, everyday offering is not like that, but on Snan Yatra, public everybody can see when they're offering. After the Snan Yatra, the three deities kept away from public view. 15 days. I read that. However, it is during this period wooden deities get a fresh coat of color before they appear in public in their new look, Nava Yavana Vesh, a day before they set out on their chariots to the Gundija temple. So it is called Nava Yavana Vesh. So then further it is explained in different. Deva Snan Purnima is also. And the 14th day, Chaturdasi, day before bathing Purnima, when the deities are taken out, the whole process is called Pahandi or Pahandi Vijay. Scholars have given different interpretation of the term Pahandi. Some opine that it has been derived from the term Praspanda, meaning a movement. Some other define or inclined to interpret as a derivation from Pandi Vijay. For the festival, Snan Vedi bathing platform is well decorated with traditional paintings of trees, gardens, flags, and toranas, arches strung with mango leaves are also put up. The deities are profusely decorated with flowers. All kinds of perfumes such as dhupa, deepa, aguru, oil, etc. are then offered. As the pahandi of the deities takes place to the accompaniment of music and beating of various indigenous drums, thousands of devotees jostle and crave for a look at the deities in procession. In Puri, the bathing procedure is as follows. After the Mangalarati, the Savaras and Mahasavaras go in ceremonial position to fetch water from Snan Kuva, golden well, in vessels of copper and gold. All of them cover their mouths with a piece of cloth so as not to contaminate it even with their breath. Then all the vessels filled with water are preserved in the Bhogamandap. The Palla Pandas, a class of Brahmin priests, then purify the water with Haridra, turmeric, Java, the whole rice, Benachara, chandan, aguru, flowers, perfumes, medicinal herb. The bathing festival takes place during the morning hours of Purnima Tithi. The filled vessels are carried from Bhogamandap to Snanavedi by the Savaras in a long single line procession. This ritual is called Jala Adivas. Jala means water, Abhishek means bath. Jala Adivas. I think this is more in Oriya language, I guess. That is what it is called. Everything has a name. Prior to the bathing ceremony, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra covered in silken cloth and then smeared with red powder are taken in possession to a platform which is specially decorated and purified with water and incense. 108 gold vessels are filled with water. Abhishek is performed with this water, accompanied by the chanting of Vedic. It's called Pavamana Sukta mantras, Kirtana and blowing of conch shells. I read Pavamana Sukta mantra. It is more like Purusha Sukta, but a little bit different though. At the end, the same mantra is chanted of Shanti mantra we also chant, and that is also there. Due to the amount of bathing liquid that are offered to cool the Lord's transcendental body, painted form takes a bit of washout. The coloration of the deity's faces are painted with natural earthly mineral paints, not modern oil-based paints. So when water is applied to cool their forms, it also has the effect of washing away the features of the former painting. As usual, Lord has a plan to make everything go smoothly. To bridge the episode of his bathing period that he comes out to bless everyone for Rath Yatra, he organizes some special pastime by which his devotees can serve him and remember his wonderful forms. Because we also heard before, I explained before, in Narsingh Chaturdashi Day, a different pastime. Sita Devi is thinking, Lakshmi Devi is thinking, I want close association. Nobody is there. So obviously, Lord is sleeping and Ananda says that. So here, during Anavasar period, Lord Lakshmi Devi is in intimate association. So and obvious Savaras, the special devotees are getting a chance to serve. So various reasons, significance. And the one more significance, I'll talk about it in a few minutes, which is after Snan Yatra. This transcendental sickness of fever, then he becomes fresh youth, Navayavana. Then Lord goes on Jagannath Rath Yatra. Then after 5 days is called Hera Panchami. What happens? So one more reflection I'll talk about. It is said that the staunch devotee, no, hold on, before that, yeah. When the after the bathing ceremony is over, it is explained that then they put on elephant dress, hathi waist. Lady Subhadra wears a lotus flower waist. The original story, yeah, that we know. It is said that staunch devotee of Lord Ganesh bird, different names are given sometimes. Scholar visited Puri Snan Yatra. He was amply rewarded by the king of Orissa for his scholarship. King asked the scholar to accompany him to see Lord Jaganath, but he refused on the pretext he won't worship any god other than Ganesh. So Lord appeared. That's why he taken that form. From that time onward, this Hathi Vesh, Gajanana Vesh, Ganesh Vesh, in this way, Lord is taken. During the sacred day, the colors painted in the image generally fade. Seeing the wooden deities and discolored devotees may not have the appropriate devotional attitude and in fact may feel sinful repugnance. For this reason, the images are immediately dressed in Hathi Vesh, in which they remain mostly covered. After the Snan Yatra, the deities are kept away from the public for 15 days. Lord Jagannath himself instructed after this ceremony he is not seen for a fortnight. The deities are kept in a special sick room called the Ratan Vedi inside the temple. This period is called Anavasara Kala, meaning improper time for worship. It has been said earlier that the deities are discolored as a result of sacred bath. During the 15 days, the Daitas, the descendants of Viswavasu, Sabara, repaint and restore the deities and Jagannath's fine decoration. The period of coloring and decorating the deities is divided into 7 short periods, each of 2 days duration, and a short period of 1 day set apart to give finishing touches. Thus, the period covers the whole fortnight, 15 days. On the 16th day, the deities, 15 days basically. On the 16th day, deities in their new forms after renovation become ready for public view darshan. The festival of first appearance of Lord Jagannath to his devotees is called Netrotsav, festival for the eyes, or Navayavana Vesh, festival of the ever new youth. According to the priests of Jagannath temple, the devotee washes away all the sins if he gets a vision of Lord on this day. On this occasion, therefore, a great rush of people occurs in the Shilpa Shastras and Agamas testified that the deities become suitable for worship only after the performance of the ritual of Chakshu Unmilana, opening of the eyes. That's why we have, even before the deities are fully give darshan, even during the installation ceremony also, first ceremony is this only, Netra Unmilan. But that is very auspicious. Installation itself, one who is seeing part of the installation ceremony of any temple deities, Lord Vishnu deities, is very auspicious. During the Anavasara, the deitas offer the deities only fruits and water mixed with cheese, dasamula medicines to cure his fever. In devotional mood, the devotees accept that due to all the bathing, the Lord becomes transcendentally poorly and therefore needs to take rest. Like human beings, they are considered to have fallen ill and are treated by Raja Vaidya or the king's physician with specific medicine, dasamula. In this way, this is explained. Yeah. Further, what is it? This where they stored these 108 pots of water, where it is explained beforehand. 108 pot of water before this ritual Snan Yatra, day before, collected from a designated well near Sitala temple on the premise of Sri Mandir, are stored in a place called Avakash Bruha. This water is used to bathe the deities. There 35 pots of water are poured over Sri Jaganath. 33 pots of water poured on Sri Balabhadra. 22 pots of water are emptied on Devi Subhadra. And Sri Sudarshan is bathed with 18 pots of water. It is followed by Chera Pahara, or ritualistic cleaning of Snan Vedi by Gajapati Maharaj of Puri. Then the deities get decorated on Snan Vedi in Hathi Vesh. Sri Jagannath gets into Hathi Vesh. After completion of all rituals, Snan Vedi, all the deities return to Anavasara Pindi, a special demarcated place in the inner sanctum of the temple. In this way, we can understand this uh, pastime. So now the last one, during the Hera Panchami, what happens is Lakshmi Devi now gets angry because Lord Jagannath is there in Dwarka. Lord Jagannath is in the most opulent in Jagannath Puri temple throughout the year, except few days, close to 10 days, or I think 8 days, 8th day, return day of Rath Yatra. When Lord leaves on Jagannath Ghat, he tells Lakshmi Devi and takes her permission. He was there 15 days in a seclusion with Lakshmi Devi, and then he takes permission and goes on the Rath. Then he goes. Then he goes to Gundicha Mandir, which is Nilachal to Vrindavan, Dwaraka to Vrindavan, Nilachal to Sundarachal. Nilachal is represented by Jagannath Puri or Aishwarya Dham, and Vrindavan is represented by Sundarachal, Gundicha Mandir, Gundicha Mandap, Gundicha Mandir, Mausima Mandir. So many different names are there. There is also separate the Adapa Darshan, separate, new, very famous darshan. One who takes darshan on that day after Gundicha temple reaches, I think second day or third day, Adapa darshan. Very auspicious. One who takes will never see. He'll never take birth again. So many different descriptions in the scriptures is mentioned about that Adapa darshan. Then on the fifth day or so, Hera Panchami performed. Lakshmi Devi comes. Where is my Lord? So then there's a and then Lakshmi Devi doesn't allow him. When he comes back also, eighth day, Lord returns. So Lakshmi Devi gets angry. But Lord Jagannath pacifies. Rasgulla and the whole pastime we did some drama at our temple, that the whole pastime, Era Panchami, Era Pera, different names are mentioned. The description is there in Murar Gupta Karacha and in a few other books. There that represents just like Lord Jagannath pacifies his wife Lakshmi Devi. This is all transcendental, nothing but I am always reflecting on everything subject matter in terms of what is our condition, how we can come to that transcendental level, how we can transform ourselves. We have to look at, because what is the instruction? What are we going to do about it after hearing? Otherwise, festivals will go, but nothing is done. Nothing we are trying to learn or implement or transform our heart. So that's why this pastime has to be looked at in a more reflective way to see what it means. So we must give up our so many, because natural tendency is there to be angry, natural tendency is to there find fault, natural tendency is there. Any living entity coming together, two people, whether it's wife and husband, or sometimes two friends, sometimes two brothers, own brothers, Sometimes true devotees constantly seen. In Kali Yuga is even more frequent. So just like Lord Jagannath is giving, very pacifying and takes it. What is done. Forget it, move on with your devotion service. So Lakshmi Devi was nicely pacified by Lord Jagannath. Initially, she was very angry and fiery like Satyabhama, but Lord Jagannath very much pacified her. Same way, so we must give up those tendencies. We must, what is done is done. Don't look at the past. One who realized soul is always looking at the present. Not too much of the future, is always in the present tense. How I can be absorbed in Krishna's service is not thinking of the past. But many times we think always, oh, this devotee has said this devotee has said that, and he has done this, he has done that. And so many things. We're always constantly thinking fast, and the mind is always filled with all these things, this and that. As soon as we see that person, immediately those things comes in the picture, because this is what is filled up. Then where our hearing, where our actual instructions of Guru will go inside the heart. All these things are filled up in the heart. Then where is the place? Where is the place to put actual real instruction, real substance? You are putting all the other garbage, but there is no place for the actual real thing to stay. So that's why it requires, we have to let it go. We have to let it go. It is not so important. It is not so important. In this life only we are coming together. Whether devotees, wife and husband, you name whoever it is. In the next life, whoever is going to, we are going to be with, we don't know. In the past life, whom we are with, we don't know. So we shouldn't be too much caught up and worried about all these things. Be in this absorption, as Lord Jagannath is teaching us how he is absorbed, how he pacifies and moves on, and then the next pastimes, other festivals happen. So Lord Jagannath is back in the Lord Lakshmi Devi allows the Lord inside. Then a nice festival, then other festivals happen. This is the return of the Yatra. So before that Hera Pera, the Lakshmi Devi gets angry again. Even when he returned, also she breaks. Some of the cards are broken. Some of the things are broken. All this, but Lord Jagannath is very much pacifying and very calm and nicely making sure then it goes smoothly, and then Lord is back in the Jagannath Puri inside the sanctum sanctorium. So Lakshmi Devi, everything is pacified. In that way, so we must allow, be compassionate. Tattenu kampan susamikshmano. If you don't be compassionate, you are not compassionate, we are not tolerating, then there is no way to be liberated from this condition. No way to be liberated. That is the qualification as being given by Lord Brahma's prayers again and again, that is quoted in many classes by Sri Prabhupada. In 10th canto, 14th chapter, verse number I don't remember, but Tattenu kampan susamikshmano. We must samiksha. We must Samiksha, Pratiksha, Pratiksha. Pratiksha, Pariksha, Samiksha. These three things must be always be there. We must think, reflect on what we are doing, how far we went, what we have done, what is yet to be done, what to be corrected. All these things must be looked at. Otherwise, we'll just simply go on monotonously, but not really improve upon things. What to be done, what not to be done, what not to be repeated. But not to be repeated is finding faults, being constantly this angry, sulky mood, which is not going to help in devotion aspects. So, because naturally it will come, this mood will come when you, as soon as you see a devotee, then immediately it comes in the forefront. Then sometimes it breaks like a lava. So immediately comes out, because that's what we are filled with. Immediately the thinking, immediately mind is bringing those into forefront. So that is the first itself. Don't put it even inside. That's not our priority. We have so many better things to do in devotion service. We shouldn't be too much caught up. Leave it. Day is gone. They never get back. Retrieve that. Avyartha kalatvam. So 1 minute we cannot get back. So don't worry about the past. Think about how to improve day-to-day basis. Every day is a great opportunity to change our life, transform our life. So that's how many other can be things can be reflected on Lord Jagannatha Snan, Yatra, Sana, Purnima. Don't ask me now. So can you show me the Shastra proof for all this reflection? No, this is my own reflective way of understanding this pastime and connecting back to our lives. So not everything will be said in the Shastra. This is more the examples and the reflections are more our own thoughts as we sincerely study and pray to the acharyas. Then these thoughts, then we can look it as a reflective way, and you get some ideas, some thoughts. So good way to retrospectively look at our life and then try to change our behaviors and actions, because that's what the whole Gita is to about change our karma, transform material into spiritual. So that is the whole idea of Bhagavad Gita. So that's why it always has to be looked at retrospectively and how to change our actions, lifestyle, behaviors. Otherwise, behaviors is very difficult to change. Prabhupada is giving example of bamboo. Bamboo, when it is young, it is very easy to bend and do anything with it. When it is more than, I think, 15, 16 years, more than certain age, when it is not young, then it easily breaks. As soon as you try to bend, try to do something, it breaks. So Prabhupada is giving this example in Bengali line, quoting a Bengali verse and giving the example of bamboo, like how kids must be treated. Up to 5 years, yes, you can live, they can play anything. But after 5 years, up to 16 years, they should be very carefully, nicely taught and teach them, and everything. Culture should be given. After 16 years, you have to act like a friend, but it requires practice. We are not used to that, so but it requires a lot of practice. After hearing and hearing, we may come to that. After 16 years, we should act like then Prabhupada is giving this bamboo example. It will break. If you say something, then it will break. Immediately they will not listen. They don't, they don't say anything. They will not talk much. So they will get too angry. And so that's why these are instructions are very important uh, to reflect on these examples. These are all, Prabhupada, it is not there in the Shastra, it may not be, but Acharyas are giving. So these are, when they reflect the different thoughts and things, examples come, then we have to take it and apply it. So anyways, 8:40 already, too late. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. We have to jump onto the Krishna book reading. Any questions? We're not getting time to ask, getting questions asked and answers. So we'll line up. Maybe next class we'll give a lot of time for question and answers. But already time is up.